Hi everybody, in these videos I'm going to go through how we transfer heat from one place to another. So in this first video I'm going to start off by talking to you about what heat transfer really is and how we actually use it to move heat from one place to another. So why is it that something can start off really hot and eventually ends up cold and vice versa. So I want to start off with a big question for you. Look at this picture. I've got a guy here who his chicken is frozen. So he's put it in the deep freezer and it's now frozen. So he's got to serve up lunch in a minute. So he decides, I know what, to get it hot, I'm going to put loads of really, really warm clothes on there. Is that going to work? Will his chicken defrost in time to serve it up for lunch by putting loads of clothes on there? And by the end of this unit, you're going to be able to tell me whether that will work or not. So, some really important things for you to understand. All heat really is a measure of how much the particles in something are vibrating. So the hotter something becomes, the faster the particles in that material vibrate. And everything we're going to study in this unit all stems from that fact. So I've got two pictures here. Both of these would be gases. And I can tell that because the particles aren't touching, but just because they're gases, most of what we're going to do with this is actually about solids, but you can see this really clearly. The hotter something is, the more the particles are moving about. So here's an idea of basic heat transfer. We often feel something feeling cold when we touch an ice cube. However, what this tells us here is that heat always travels from something that is hot to something cold. The energy itself always goes from the hotter thing into the colder thing. So in this case, if your finger touches an ice cube, what's actually happening is the energy is moving from your finger into the ice cube. Now, because you're dropping the energy in your finger, there's now less energy in your finger, which means that the particles in your finger move more slowly, and that means that your finger starts to feel colder. And that's why cold things feel cold. There's not actually the idea that the cold is entering your body. Instead, the heat from your body is entering the thing that feels cold. Now, over the next couple of lessons, you're going to learn three types of heat transfer. They are conduction, convection, and radiation. But the most important thing to always remember is that in all these cases, energy always goes from the hot thing towards the cold thing. So if you're touching the handle of this, energy is flowing from the handle into your hand. That's always the direction that energy goes, and it's always going. So for over here, the particles are vibrating lots because it's hot. In your hand, the particles aren't vibrating much at all because your hand is much colder. Okay, let's just do a quick checkpoint. Here's the first question, just read it and answer it for me. Okay, so for this first question, you should get that heat always travels from something that is hotter to something colder, or from something that is high temperature to low temperature. Temperature is just a measure of how quickly the particles are moving. When do the particles move the fastest? Okay, you should get that the particles move fastest in hotter objects. The hotter the object is, the more those particles are vibrating. So let's go over what we just said. Which of these is correct? Okay, so it should be that heat goes goes into the ice cube from your hand. And because it's gone into the ice cube from your hand is now cooler. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next lesson.